Two fragrances. One I spread at the top and the other one below it. Can you still see the oil marks of the oil marks? Oil marks. That some says that these two fragrances smells exactly the same, or some says that these two fragrances has some similarities, and some says, let's do this. Let's do this. Two fragrances. One I spread at the top and the other one below it. Now, can you still see the oil marks on both areas? The top one is a cheapie from the house of LATTAFA. It's LATTAFA's Pride Eternal Oud. Now, the one at the bottom is a high-end niche fragrance from the house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn, and it is Soir. If you want to know my thoughts between these two fragrances in comparison, but take it with a big grain of salt, please keep watching. Friends and viewers, my name is Red, and this is my YouTube channel. Let's do this. Sharing my thoughts on a cheapie from the house of LATTAFA. This is LATTAFA's Pride Eternal Oud 100 ml Eau de Parfum concentration, released 2022. Look at the bottle, the image and the symbol presentation of the bottle. It's like a tree. Maybe it's a tree of life. Now, for the cap is really tight, and the sprayer smooth and properly distributed. And the cap, if I put it back, that locks it, sits tightly. You can carry it from the cap itself, and it's not gonna fall. LATTAFA Pride Eternal Oud. Top notes are plum and grapefruit. Middle notes are heliotrope and orchid. Base notes are vanilla, amber, tonka bean, benzoin, labdanum, and agarwood or oud. Wow. First impression. That's a really beautiful smell of plum with a light freshness coming from the citrus, which is grapefruit. And then the flowers, which is heliotrope and orchid, are just very mild and minimal, but suddenly I can already smell the smoothness and the thickness at the same time of amber and vanilla and benzoin. This in the air is quite masculine, but there's some freshness onto it. Maybe it's airy, it's smooth. There is a bit of a boozy smell, like kind of like the smell of rum or whatever. This has a very nice scent trail for sure. As this lingers even on the skin, I don't detect much of the flowers here, and in the air I can already detect a soft powder accord, which is coming from the benzoin, because benzoin is associated with vanilla, but it gives out a slight powder impression. The opening and the mid are just the same, and then the base notes is a combination of tonka bean. There's some spiciness on this one. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's coming from the coumarin or it's just my skin chemistry with the fragrance. A hint of rose, and then there's a metallic vibe on my skin, because this has been sitting for like 45 minutes now on 3 sprays, and it's still thick and airy, but it's not as thick as the Grand Soir. But the blend itself is addicting. On top, mid, and base, that although there's some slight changes, I would say LATTAFA's Pride Eternal Oud is quite linear. It doesn't branch out much. It is just smooth, aromatic, airy, linear, masculine with some freshness onto it. All the facets of sweetness and fruitiness and light powderiness coming from the amber, vanilla, benzoin. There's this tonka bean that also adds some sweetness, but it's not thick. They're all just thin aromas floating in the air, but it will really capture. Now, comparing this with Grand Soir from Mason Francis Kirkjohn, I would say that on the opening, Maison Francis Kurkdjian Grand Soir. It is thick, bittersweet, floral, ambery, and then while the LATTAFA Pride Eternal Oud is more airy and aromatic, but Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir is potent. Between the two, Grand Soir still is high quality. You would know that it is an expensive fragrance. But when it comes to the dry down, Grand Soir, there is only a very minimal resemblance between the two. Although the notes composition between the two are quite similar in several notes, but opening, mid-stage, they are not the same. By the base, there's only some slight similarities between Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir and LATTAFA's Pride Eternal Oud. I would say that by the dry down, Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir is the winner. This is bravo. LATTAFA Pride Eternal Oud is almost there. Grand Soir will last a long time. This potency will exceed the 10 plus hours. While LATTAFA Pride Eternal Oud, which has a metallic feel on it, this will just go for like about 5 to 6 hours. I'm lucky if I would have this on the 7th hour margin. But Grand Soir, by the dry down, doesn't have the metallic vibe of LATTAFA's Pride Eternal Oud. Now, what is the age range for LATTAFA's Eternal Oud? This is male, 25 or 30 years old and above. This would be suitable on occasions such as date scenarios. Guys, if you have a date, wear this one. It can also be applicable on clubbing and also on informal gatherings, especially the outdoors. I don't think this is not appropriate for work. All the notes are participating. Complement factor, this is highly complementing. The opening resinous plum and the freshness of the citrus from the grapefruit and the sweetness coming from the vanilla, smoothness of amber and slight powder coming from the benzoin. This will boost your confidence wearing this one, as long as you don't overspray. If you overspray this one, it will cause you to sneeze a lot. So just be careful with the trigger of LATTAFA's Eternal Oud. It is mass pleasing on fall, winter, and springtime seasons. Now that's my review of LATTAFA's Pride Eternal Oud. Does it smell eternal? Yes, it is. It may not be as great as Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir, but this one has, though linear, it has some transformations and different impressions of light powdery, sweet, fruity. Then there's this metallic tone, then there's this wine impression, and then there's this thin but aromatic component coming from sensual touch of tonka bean. I am done reviewing LATTAFA's Pride Eternal Oud 100 ml Eau de Parfum concentration. For my new subscribers and returning subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. It means a lot to me. Thank you. For my returning viewers and first-time viewers, please subscribe to my channel so I will be inspired to upload more videos in the coming days and you will be notified. And once again, this is my channel. Let's do this.